Hello and good Monday morning. It is definitely a sorry morning in Detroit after that Lions loss. But what that means is that we turn back to the market to make some more money and prepare for next football season. I'm locked and loaded. I got 13 in the back and I got a little bit of a surprise. I have a thermal flask branded Stanley Cup. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's go ahead and roll that intro.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. Oh, it's Vegas lore, that phrase.
All right. Happy Monday. Hello and welcome. And we're back for another episode of Live Trading. I hope you folks got some rest this weekend and got ready for this week because we have the big week of tech earnings coming up. It is likely going to be busy all week. Let's go ahead and break it down. I got my main man 13 in the back. 13, how you doing today?
Oh, doing all right. How's everybody this morning? Just enjoyed some football watching yesterday and some food, and now I'm ready to get back into the swing of things.
I'm sad that there's only one more football game left for the year. Both the teams that I was rooting for yesterday ended up losing. The games were exciting, but man, oh man, hopefully the Super Bowl can give us something to cheer about. 13, though, our job today is to find something in the market to make us cheer about. You up for the task, my man?
Let's find it.
Let's go ahead and find it. First thing we're going to start with is, as a reminder, the stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool, the best prop firm out there. Get up to 260K buying power. If you really need help with your system or you need help to get over that 25K threshold for day trading, Trade the Pool is probably going to be the answer for you. They spend their time here hanging out with us. They are awesome. So be sure to check them out. Now, real quickly, speaking of Trade the Pool, we did talk about the week of earnings coming up. And producer Alyssa, if you wouldn't mind loading the earnings graphic as an overlay for me, we would go ahead and display them. However, I am going to start with Trade the Pool's watch list. So some of these stocks should not be a surprise. They are often stocks that we trade every single day. We're going to start with Tesla because that's probably one of the biggest movers here. Tesla's currently at about 185.10. You can see here we have resistance at 186.50 and support at 184.30. So we're pretty much right between that range. These are two of the levels that we're going to look at. We'll see if Tesla breaks through these levels and we'll set some new levels, but this is what we're going to start with. Remember, we also have, the second stock on the list, I beg your pardon, is Apple. Apple has resistance at 185 and support at 178. So Apple here is trading at 192. So we're actually above that resistance area. We'll see if it actually bounces from that 185 or if it travels down to that 178 support. That 185 resistance should be a new support level, but we'll see how that ends up going. And then lastly here we have AMD. We've got resistance at 185 and support at 178. AMD currently at 179.75. So it's at the low of that range. So we'll see how many of these work out. Now, 13, let's go ahead and take a look at the SPY. Let's start off with the SPY.
Sure.
As mentioned, we have a bunch of big earnings here today. SPY's doing a pretty good job flagging on the daily chart as it broke out past that 480, currently at 487. Do you have any type of feeling here on the broader market going into this Monday?
Well, I still think the broader market is pretty stretched. The sideways action we're getting out of the candles on the daily chart, it looks like we're trying to top out. I've said that before, and we just can, continue to rip higher. So take that how you will. I have to think that we are trying to come back in at some point. I think as soon as some of these tech earnings start coming out, we could see some weakness. But we'll have to just wait and see what happens with those. We got past the big economic news with PCE inflation data last week. So really, it's just going to come down to how these earnings are taken.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement with you. The one thought that I have for this week, and I can't help it because of what you were just saying, how extended we are in the broader market. My thought this week is that if some of these earnings aren't great and some of these stocks start to crack, it might start a broader sell-off, right? It might bring a whole bunch of other stocks with it. We might see a prolonged sell-off. Now, a lot of that is going to depend on the actual prints themselves, what companies hit, what companies don't hit. Looking ahead here, really Thursday after the close is going to be the big day. So a majority of the week is going to be out of the way. We have Apple, Amazon, and Meta reporting after hours on Thursday. Now, it's also worth noting that we have Microsoft, Alphabet, Starbucks, and AMD reporting Tuesday. So I think we might get some movement after the print, or excuse me, after the session ends tomorrow. But we will have to wait and see. So, all right, let's take a look at some of the stocks that are moving here today. Actually, really quick, the first thing that I want to do, let me just go to a solo layout here. I want to talk about some of the swings that we're holding here in the Trade the Pool account. We have continued to hold on to Zim. We have talked long and hard about that thesis being intact despite some of the movements on Zim. Now we're getting a move towards the upside of the range here. Would really like to see a break of 15. We're really not that far from it here on Zim. So this one looking really good. We've been patient with this one. We had a really, really good entry. That's made swinging it quite palatable. We're still in the TGTX swing. Remember, we've paid ourselves on the way up there, so that swing's still working for us and still delivering some profit. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the movers. I see our chat came ready on Monday. As always, you just absolutely love to see it. We're going to go ahead and start with a play from last week. We're going to talk about RVSN 13. I know we were talking briefly off camera here. RVSN is in play until it isn't. We have seen this stock make moves number of days. We're popping here in the pre-market again today. We're at 1070, right above the VWAP here at 1051. So look for RVSN to continue its momentum move. One thing to note here is there is no fresh news here today. So just make sure, no matter what this is, that your plan is to have a plan for each direction, right? If we get some nice technical trading and some nice volume in here, sure, we could absolutely trade this to the upside. But if that doesn't work, don't just stick around. Have a plan to exit that. RVSN definitely moving here. Now, I have a couple of other names. I'm going to go through the list here. 13, if there's anything that you want to add, stop me, and let's go ahead and add them as we roll down the list here. Oops, let me go ahead and mute that. Sorry about that. All right, first one on the list here is going to be ONMD. Now, this was a penny stock last week. We had a PR here this morning that popped this as high as, what, 219. We've now come in. We're right below the VWAP, but we've done a good job holding this area here. So we're not breaking back down to one. We're not breaking beneath one. So far, so good. We're doing a good job holding these lows. Obviously, we would like to see a move back towards the VWAP, a recapture of that VWAP, and perhaps a trade up towards some of those highs. We'll see if we end up getting that on ONMD. Real quickly here, I don't have a float here. We did a little bit of investigating. What did you get? 1.4 million, 13?
Yeah, 1.45 float. Yeah,
1.45 million on the float. So we're looking at a low float stock here. The stock is $1. Could be wild. Just keep it in mind. Remember, we've seen some of these low floats. They're extremely volatile. And if they start moving, they can also get spready. So focus on your entries if you're going to trade any of these. And the other thing is if you're flipping these, if you're just kind of day trading these and you don't get that good entry, don't be afraid to take it off the table. Keep yourself protected and then wait for a better entry. I really think that with some of these low floats that are moving all over the place, the entry is going to be critical if you're going to have a successful trade to them. Our chat does a really good job of outlining those. Real quickly here, there was a PR for ONMD that's driving it. OneMedNet announces participation as an exhibitor in the 15th annual Scope Summit. So this is just announcing that they're going to be an exhibitor here. The stock's popped over 150%. You do with this what you will. Maybe somebody in there knows something. I don't really know. All I'm saying is that this one could be risky, but it is making an outsized move here in the pre-market. 13, did you have anything else on this one?
Oh, you covered it.
Okay. Yeah, pretty simple. Let's move on to the next one here. That's going to be Pally. We've traded this one here before. This is Pally Bio. This has flirted with penny stock and dollar territory left and right. Same deal, though. Be very, very careful with this one. You can see the volume expansion here this morning has been wild, right? Took us from 62 cents, which is right where the VWAP was. We busted through one. We printed as high as 121. The VWAP is just about at $1. I've got it sitting at 99 cents. Again, be careful with this one. Not my favorite, really kind of a small junky stock. Float on this one, 9.2 million. So we're still looking at a sub 10 million float. Another low float name here. Palisade Bio did have a PR this morning as well, announces positive preclinical data of the lead program Pali 2108 at 2024's Crohn's and Colitis Congress. So it looks like we're actually getting some positive preclinical data. We'll see where that ends up taking Pali here today. Definitely use some of your technical analysis on this one. Again, really focus on entry here. You got anything else on Pali before I move on here?
Just the 9.22 million float, a little bit higher than these smaller float names we're looking at, but should still be not too difficult to push around.
Yep, totally agree with you. Smoke Tuna, I saw that you were talking about this one earlier. Let us know if you have any spots that you're looking for here on Pali. Next on the list here is going to be RevB. This is Revelation Biosciences. Stock is $18. It's actually flagging here in the pre-market. We did pop as high as 23. We've come all the way back in. You can see that the VWAP's at 17. So from the highs to the VWAP, we've got about a $6 range. This one also very low float. 13. Do you know what the float is offhand on RevB?
I believe it was under 1 million.
Yep. I have a reading here of 207K. So you are absolutely right. That is under 1 million here. I don't see any fresh PR or any fresh news on RevB. Chat, if you guys have found anything on that, let us know. Certainly looks like this is compressing and going to break in one direction. Sorry, 13. Get in there.
Jay nailed it. It's there's two things actually going on with this. So 30-for-1 reverse split last week on the 25th. That's one thing that happened. Okay. They also did a reverse split almost a year ago on the 1st of February, 2023, for 35-to-1 reverse split. Now, they also had a short interest of 7.2 before they just did their recent split. So I think that's also factoring into the movement of this stock this morning.
Okay, so we've talked. That's really good stuff there. Appreciate it, 13 and Jay. This is how we do it. We put a team together and we figure some of this stuff out. RevB here, you guys are just saying that there's a recent reverse split, but almost a calendar year ago, there was yet another reverse split. So now we're doing the reverse split cycle of doom, where you kind of just circle the drain on your way down. We've talked a lot about some of these reverse splits. It didn't take long for Jay Rice to mention Mullen. That's kind of what I was waiting for. Mullen ripped on a reverse split and gave it all back. That's one of the things we want to be careful here on RevB. This one, I would definitely say, I don't know anything about the long-term prospects of this company. I would say, given the share structure, the low float that we see here, just be very careful with this one. Haven't pulled this up in a broker yet, but I'm willing to bet that this thing's going to be extremely spready. Just protect yourself. Just make sure that you're okay on this one. Again, be careful. Next here on the list is going to be MDAI. I noticed that Smoke Tuna was mentioning this one. It looks like Nick Sanders on this one as well. MDAI popped up, tested that 4, came back in, doing a good job holding above the VWAP here. I didn't see any news here on MDAI, and I don't have a float reading. 13, do you have anything else, any holes that you want to fill on this one?
I didn't get too far on this one, but I did notice that there was a price target and announced by BTIG of $4 last week. It ran a bit on Friday, and it also is running today. I'm thinking the trade could be, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm thinking the trade could be over as soon as we get to $4. I don't know how much higher it would go after that.
Yeah,
so I'm not sure.
And to your point, 13, if you take a look at the daily chart here, it does look like it's kind of teasing that breakout, but you're absolutely right. That $4 level is going to prove to be a wall there. Question is, can we take that out and break out, or does that serve as the resistance point here on MDAI? So this is kind of what we're looking at. I will say maybe the volume picks up if this does take some levels out on the daily or some of those longer time frame charts, but it does have AI in the name, but I don't see any fresh news here on this one. Jay Wild saying MDAI around 14 million float is what I got. So there you go. Good morning, Wally. Great to see you here. So there you go. MDAI. All right, let's see. I noticed that TC and Hub C were on here.
I can go over TC real quick.
Yeah, do it.
No news. Low float, 1.217 million. They did a 15-for-1 reverse split on the 26th. And this is one of these. I think these are just a BS Chinese name. trade this at your own risk. There's a chance it's going to really move a lot with how low the float is, and given that we just had a reverse split. But I don't know what substance there is to this company. I'd be very, very careful. This is not a hold, just a trading vehicle.
Yeah, and we might actually have some. Oh, let me actually back this out one level. We might actually have some better setups here. Might as well cover them. Hub C, this is another one that I feel like we've traded here before. This did pop again over that 320 level. It's really kind of come back in. It's really shown no strength despite some volume tick ups here. I would say on Hub C at this point, you got to wait for this to kind of firm up and confirm its bottom as opposed to trying to catch a falling knife. Stocks that show strength early on, sometimes when they pull, we can buy that pullback, but there has to be some of that preliminary strength. When I see stocks like this that really just kind of bleed all pre-market, I'm suspect of whatever underlying strength it has, and that's kind of what I see here on Hub C. We covered Zim a little bit here. The other one is SoFi. I know there are a lot of SoFi traders out there. There are some in pre-market prep. There are some in this show as well. I know SoFi also has some long-term holders as well. SoFi definitely moving here. SoFi shares trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q4 revenue. We did trade up as high as 897. We couldn't quite take 9. Good deal here is that we're building above the VWAP. This is on your intraday chart. On your daily chart here, we did kind of pop out of this range, right? So we took out this 866. It'll be interesting to see if we can actually get above this gap and fill it. I've got that gap fill going up to 960 on SoFi. Possible, but unsure if we're going to end up doing that here today. So SoFi on watch. Would be curious to hear what the group thinks of SoFi. I know that there are a bunch of long holders out there, so I'd love to know what your thesis is here on SoFi. Richard saying just sold mine pre-market. So Richard, looks like you had a trade thesis on there, taking your profit off the table and resetting. We're going to start this Monday out with a ringing of the cash register. Richard, you're the one that breaks the ice here. Good job. Bought 2 weeks ago. Nice little swing there on SoFi. Closing it after this binary event that pops it to the highs. Absolutely love that. Okay, EKS. I actually just saw this cross the wire here this morning. It was during our intro, and I figured we'd go over some of the other stuff here. But you're mentioning iRobot, right? So that's ticker IRBT. Now, we got news this morning that iRobot is terminating their deal with, or excuse me, Amazon decided to terminate their acquisition agreement. iRobot down here 19% in the pre-market. This thing probably is going to continue to sell off. I don't really think that this is a long. I will say that there are probably going to be people that try to trade this for a bounce. We've kind of already seen that here. So if that's your game, good luck to you. I'm sure we'll keep taking a look at it, but just be very, very careful with this. We'll see if iRobot gives a trade here today. And then really quick, PBLA. This is actually one that we took a look at last week. Panbela Therapeutic shares are trading lower after the company announced pricing of a roughly $9 million public offering, stock down 64% here. This just goes to solidify what we're talking about, that these things should be looked at as trading vehicles and nothing more. If you have some type of like insight into the company, that's great. That can give you an edge, but you want to be really, really sure of that. PBLA here, not one that I would have held, and you're seeing the destruction here this morning post-offering. Okay, anything else that you want to take a look at? 13, you got anything else that I didn't cover here? Chat, do you have anything I didn't cover? I noticed that Save is gapping up here. I know we talked a lot about some of the airlines, in particular Spirit Airlines here, popping a little bit. Really couldn't get over the intraday high that we put on Friday, though. So we'll see if this is actually in play here today.
Yeah, I was just taking a look at SoFi on the daily chart. Mm-hmm. There's a gap that we're getting close to fill, and it doesn't look like we filled it in pre-market yet. From at the very beginning of the year, from the 2nd to the 3rd, there was a gap down, and the space in there between is I typed it out. It was 903 to 952. Okay. So there's a good chunk of change you could probably capture in there if we decide to fill this gap out of the open.
Okay. And so I actually had the bottom of that candle at 960, but good on you. 952, the low print on that gap fill here on SoFi. We'll see if we end up getting that here today. Jay saying RVSN, is it new highs or nosedive? So that's really the question here, Jay. One of the things I just said when we took a look at this is that this stock is in play until it isn't. So really want to see some type of death blow, if you will. And I hate to call for that, honestly. But that will tell me that this is kind of over. Will you take a look at the 15-minute chart here? It's hard to say that this thing doesn't look like it's at least going to attempt new highs. The one thing that I will say is that the pattern that it's made recently, the most recent pattern that we're in, it is to set new highs, but look what it does right after those new highs. So here's going to be your plan today. If this does look like this is going to be in play and we break this 230 to the upside to set new highs, that's got to be at least one of your sell targets. Got to be, because if we see the same type of formation or maybe even a big reversal of this, you don't want to be a part of that. So you want to make sure that you can book gains ahead of that. Jay, I would say looking at the chart here, I think it's going to test new highs, but I can't tell you for sure what's going to happen.
I got a target of 14 for if
okay.
that we'll see resistance. I mean, if you look at the daily chart, we're at 84 RSI. That's really, really extended. And the only other resistance level that I can see from a moving average is the 500-day SMA. That's at about it's exactly at 14. So I think that if we trade up to there, we could see it have a hard time trying to go any further. Maybe it trades up above 14 slightly and then comes back in. But that's where my target would be to take profit and kind of be done. This thing's very, very extended. I can't imagine how bad the pullback would be, but I wouldn't want to be in it when that happens.
Yeah, I'm with you there. So that's really good though, 13. Now we have two targets, right? We've got the high a day break. Probably if you're going to try to play the curl, should probably lighten there, pay yourself on the way up. And now we have another target to shoot for, maybe 13, maybe 14. Let's see if we end up getting all the way to 14. Good stuff there.
Those top wicks just look really ugly on the daily. Like it's just, yeah. So be very careful.
Absolutely. But to the point, it's over. It's not over until it's over, right?
Yeah.
And while these are looking heavy, guess what? If we erase this last candle here, these last two look the same. And sure enough, we set new highs. So the amplitude of this move is shrinking. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, we got about 5 minutes till we open here. I'm going to flip over to my main workspace for the scanner. Let's take a look and see what's updated here. MDAI, this is one that we talked about. Maybe this is going to be testing that 390 spot. We'll go ahead and take a look. Wally, you wanted to take a look at MSTR. We can do that here real quick. Oops, I got to click the right button, though, in order to do that. MSTR here. Here's going to be that's your 1 minute chart. We need something else. We need the daily chart here. So first of all, if we take a long look here at MSTR, obviously this is a big Bitcoin name. Bitcoin down here this morning, holding that 42K level. MSTR here, these are EMAs, not SMAs. You can see that this move has kind of pulled back. We're kind of in no man's land here on the RSI. Hard for me to make a bet either way on this one. It definitely looks like it wants to curl and move back up, but this is going to be subject to what Bitcoin does. And like I've admitted to you a lot, I can't tell you where Bitcoin's going to go from day to day. I'm in it for the long run.
So I posted something in Happy Hour chat, just some thoughts over the weekend about Bitcoin and what we could see going into this election, because I believe Bitcoin's going to be an election year issue. Reason being is that the current administration had previously signed an executive order back in March of 22 to urgently research and develop a central bank digital currency. Upsides and downsides to that, absolutely. But basically, it's like a Bitcoin that's issued and maintained by the U.S. government. And while there are, some upsides and downsides that I mentioned, we're already seeing the many downsides of how China's CCP is handling their own their own central bank digital currency, and a lot of people are calling it programmable money. Now, if there's a lot of pushback from one of the candidates about that, it could be looked at as embracing Bitcoin or other digital assets in favor of those instead of one that's issued by the government. We have about 52 million Americans that own digital assets, so. Yes, I absolutely believe this is going to be a election year issue, and we're probably going to get an answer as to whether or not we get a central bank currency or not, depending on how these primaries and general elections go. Very, very big issue, in my opinion. It could cause Bitcoin to be quite volatile in the upcoming months.
I think that's a heads up call there, 13, because I agree. I mean, to me, the whole thing with Bitcoin, like, why would you want the government in control? Like, isn't one of the big, attractive parts about it is that it's decentralized? Why would I want the U.S. government to control it. Part of the problems that we have right now with inflation is because it was under their control. Why would I want that for Bitcoin? I agree. I don't know what the answer and which way it's going to go, but I agree with you. I think this is going to be a hot button topic going into the election year. And I think that given what we've seen with Bitcoin and some of its unpredictability, we're likely to get moves in both directions based on those headlines. So
yeah, so it's gonna be a very, very volatile issue, and I think it'll provide us some good trading, especially in those Bitcoin names like Mara, Riot, and MSTR.
Okay, and we'll go ahead and see. We're going to keep taking a look at the scanner here. Also, just kind of a reminder, I'll keep reminding you throughout the course of this week, but as a reminder, next week, live trading will only be Monday. I don't have concrete plans on what we're going to do, but I am actually taking some time off to travel to Arizona. Hint, hint, Jay Rice, if you want to get together for lunch, contact me. Let's work that out. Would love to do that. But next week, we're going to have some other content for live trading Tuesday through Friday. That just means that we need to double up this week and make it even better. What do you say, 13?
Let's do it. We got 30 seconds. Let's start off the week.
Okay. 30 seconds until the casino opens here today. Remember, in my main account, I did carry my Humana bounce play. We opened up a butterfly on Humana, looking for this to kind of trade back. Let me get a daily chart in here. Looking for this to kind of bounce and trade back towards balance. Also opened up a butterfly on DD, which is DuPont. So looking for both of these plays to bounce. Limited a risk by defining it ahead of time using a butterfly strategy on that. Did it small? Market is open. Let's go.
I have a limit order out to take some more Zim off the table. We got that pullback last. Oh wow, yeah, we got that pullback at the end of the week last week. There we got that fill now. So I started picking up some more, and now that we're over 15, I wanted to take some off, so I'm taking some off.
Okay, there we go. 15 here on Zim. I want to see. I kind of want to judge if we have like a breakout, right? I want to see if this keeps moving here. I think at this point, we'll see. We'll see how
this is a breakout. This is a breakout compared to where we closed yesterday. I mean, from when I can tell.
I'm sorry. I want to see like if this breakout causes it to run some more, right? We've got some strength. I want to sell into that strength. I don't need to do it right around here at the open, or just yet, I should say. MSTR, our first move here is down.
Yeah, it's going to go in the direction of Bitcoin. I think it's under 42 now, right? Let me take a look here. Yes, just under 42.
Yep.
So we'll, I'm looking at a daily chart with MSTR. If it could probably break over this 65 EMA on the daily chart here if we start to get back above 42, maybe get to 42.5. So that's something to watch for. That he's got to watch what Bitcoin does, in my opinion, and then you can go with those. Let's look at these other ones. RVSN here doing a decent job holding right here at the VWAP. First move was an up move. It got sold into, but it isn't breaking down. RVSN might be in play here. RVEB is trying to get over 1950. Now it's pulling back. Yeah, I don't have any levels for REVB, so I may not get involved with this one. This is the one that had no news, very low float, multiple reverse splits, and it was shorted before the split. So
Hallie, first move here out of the open was a pop to the highs. Intraday high here, 135. We'll see if that works. Sydney saying Ryan Becca is in Arizona. You know what, Sydney? It's funny that you mentioned that. I'm aware because Becca actually reached out. So we're waiting for Jay Rice to do the same thing. Like I said, giving you a nice little friendly nudge right there. Reach out. Definitely love meeting the people from our community. 13 can vouch for that.
Yeah.
We went to a cigar lunch. We had a bunch of fun. I'm always looking to do that. And guys, let me tell you something. When you catch me on a vacation, everything is good.
Whole new Ryan.
I mean, I feel like I'm a pretty cheery guy anyway, but man, vacation time is best time.
Yeah. You shed the work and oh man, it's a new guy. MDAI out of the gate, by the way, was a down move. ONMD also pulled, but it found support at the 110, 109 level. Not sure about ONMD. If we continue this downside, it's probably going to go all the way down to the 200 EMA, which I have at 90 cents.
Okay, and real quickly here on MDAI, yes, we pulled, but we didn't break down through that pre-market low. Remember, we wanted to talk about holding that. So far, that's what we've done. Great stuff here. Here's ONMD. Yes, that did break, or that did move down here. It did not break down yet. The thing that's got me concerned here is we are beneath that pre-market low that we held. So we're not beneath this pre-market low, but after that second momentum move on that pullback, we've now broken that to the downside. To me, it looks like the next level that we want to test here is that 94. Is that what, 94 cents? I think that's what you said, 13, right? Right to the penny.
I think it was, let me see here, 90 cents. 90 cents, probably 91.
90 cents. Okay.
Also, Rev B has been halted.
Rev B has been halted. Thank you. I took it off the screen for 1 sec, 13. Appreciate the assist there. Yep. Rev B halted to the downside here. Remember, this was the recent reverse split. That was also a reverse split last year. Jay Rice gave us that warning.
And this is the one that has the very, very low float, the like 250,000 shares or something like that. So this thing could really pull very quickly. And that's probably why it halted, because it doesn't look like it's a very big move, but because of the amount of volume traded relative to its float, that's going to get it halted.
SoFi running. Jim, good morning, Jim. Great to see you here this morning. Let's check on SoFi. We talked about that extending its pre-market move. Jim, you're absolutely right. Pop to the highs here above that $9 level and holding. I have a little size at 9.15, and I have a bird that's concerned about the cat over my shoulder. I apologize for that. Pally, looking like this is coming back in. Wiss, it looks like you said you're trying some Pally here. I guess what's the trade plan here? Maybe if this comes back in towards 122, we bounce off those pre-market highs on Pally. I still see some size here at 135 that needs to get chewed through. CRBP, that was a blast from last week. Notice that was down here in the pre-market, but you know what? Not breaking down. Good shout here, Crow. I don't think this is moving yet, but maybe we do get some movement on this one. Let me go back to Pally. That seems to be moving already.
Sorry, I'm just going through some of these older names, see if they're going to get any movement or not. The ones we traded last week.
Sorry, just checking some of the messages here. Pally still holding up there.
Looks like we're getting
Lynn trying to josh me here. Becca and Jay, don't go to that means to PTLO for lunch. The stock price makes for not so cheery Ryan. Lynn, we've talked about that. I am always cheery. And look, the food's really good there. I love Becca's clap back, though. Lynn, no worries. I know where the local Portillo's is already. Already knows. Doesn't need my help.
Looks like MDAI is trying to come back here.
Pally right through that 135, by the way. Wiss, it's moving here. So, okay, interesting. So it popped through there and immediately pulled back. Remember what we talked about when we set some of these new highs here? That was a push from 135 to 143 and an immediate yank. We're now under that high on Pally. So careful on this one. Oh, Lynn, fun's my middle name. You know me. You guys know me too well. You know how to have fun with me too, which is important. MDAI did reclaim that VWAP. Let's see if it pushes higher here. EHTH being mentioned by Smoke Tuna. This popped on Friday, doing a decent job holding this area, traded right back into that consolidation area.
RVSN looks like it's getting ready to make another move.
Yeah, you're
the
right
volume to come up there.
This is spread, but maybe we take a stab at this one. Ryan, you're out of luck. Bird's Nest sold out. What does that mean? Was that a Clio joke, or is that something that I am not getting? It's possible it's both. Wiss, nice job on Pally here. Nice job booking some gains here early on. Ring that register. AVBP, Crow's mentioning this was an IPO from Friday. This is not on my radar. Let's see. Okay, so it had a rough IPO on Friday, but maybe we've kind of found a bottom here. Big time spread on AVBP. Crow, do you have any tips for the group on getting entry on some of these spready names by chance? I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but just kind of wondering, because the spread will often scare me out of some of these stocks. Looking around here real quick.
Yeah, just trying to see if anything's setting up. Looks like Pally is really trying to get it to push down off the 125 level, but it's getting that supply eaten up. This might go back up if it gets more bids.
Easy Mike. Good morning. Good to see you. Jay saying Bird's Nest is the nightly entertainment for the golf tourney. Dirks Bentley and Hardy headliners. Okay. So I see. So the after party, the nightly entertainment for the Phoenix Open is sold out. Well, Jay, we're going to have to do lunch elsewhere then, it seems. Or dinner. Good morning, Easy Mike. Like I mentioned, catching up with everybody in the chat. Okay. Let me take a look here at Pally 13.
MDAI is starting to break down again. Sorry, I'm just like looking around, but yeah, Pally's holding the levels, and it looks like it's trying to come back, but it's still beneath my VWAP just slightly.
Pally, interestingly, 13. Pally pulled to my VWAP here on Trade the Pool and bounced clean off of it.
Yeah, it's just
okay. Crow, sorry for cutting you off, 13. I just want to get this before I miss this. I'm going to go right back to you. Crow saying regarding that spread, usually I buy the bid and sell the ask. So this is a true scalp. Day traders back when prices were fractions used to do the same thing. Used to sit on the bid and then scalp it on the ask for a quarter, 75 cents or so. I don't sweat it normally because I'm expecting a 20 or 30% move. Okay, so it looks like you're sizing into that and then have a profit target set up to kind of minimize that spread. Good stuff there, Crow. 13. I'm sorry for running you over there, man.
No, that's all right. I'm just looking around, and I noticed that Pally was went down to a level that I had at 115, and it kind of held that. And it's coming back up, trying to get back up through VWAP. So I thought it was interesting. Maybe there's some more fuel to this. It's got a lot of sell orders at 130 and up, though.
Yeah, I do see that size here at 130. The good thing is they did bring in a bid here at 118.
It's certainly trying.
Anyways. Netflix, the first move out of the open was down. Apple moving down, but quite orderly, not really a big sell-off. Tesla moved up out of the gate, by the way. So we talked about that one here. I was wondering about Tesla. First move was up. Looks like it stopped at 167 in reverse, but it's doing a good job holding in here on Tesla.
It looks like Pally's trying to make its way. It went beyond 125, and now it's got to get past 130. Just a lot of resistance in this one. But if bids can come in and break through it, then it's probably moving pretty good. And here we go. Now we're through 130. Next one is about 140, maybe 135.
Sorry, just clearing out something here.
There we go. Now we're up to 140. Look at this thing go. It's just eating up the supply.
And I'll tell you what, the bounces off the support area have proven to be good entry. So we talked about trying to be tactical on the entry here. Sure looks like Pally did that. Still see some size here at 145. Looks like they refilled a little bit there at 140 on Pally. Ryan Milligan mentioned that Zim is setting up. So 13, I'm sorry, I ran you over again. My bad, dude. I've had too much coffee this morning, 13. You got to get on my level, baby.
All right. But yeah, I mean, for Pally, I would just be raising stops at this point because that amount of size up there, it looks like it could just put some selling pressure and just take it lower. So yeah, and it looks like we're coming back to VWAP now. So that'd be a good razor stop. And this thing could still go further. It looks like some of these EMAs are setting up to cross VWAP in the next maybe 15 minutes or so. So.
And the other thing that we're seeing here is the volume is encouraging, right? As long as this volume sticks around, we should be able to trade this one here.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Robert Pally, Scalp City for sure.
Scalp City. You know, one of the things that I always do some type of reflection when it comes to trading. Just what did you do well? What did you do wrong? One of the things that I noticed here, especially during the show, is that when I flip around a lot, I'm often later on entries. So I think one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to make a concerted effort to try and keep myself safe. I want to trade the stuff that we're talking about because we're all trading it. We're all talking about the same things, but I just have to be sure to not deviate from my plan. RVSN 12s.
Yep. RVSN is trying to make that pre-market high of 1235. We almost got there too.
Okay, so here we go. Now, remember what we talked about. If this sets a new high, does it pop back and give it up? Just have a plan. Just have a plan.
Somebody's in happy hour chat is mentioning NVIDIA. Just going to take a quick look at that because I'm going to really have my mind blown if we hit 650 and then come in because that was just a technical guess.
Hey, the technicals have really kind of held up, though. The technicals have been great. And that your all-time high there on NVIDIA, 628.49, currently at 615. We're right under there. Right under there. ONMD maybe curling. Let me take a look at that. RVSN is still moving, right? Yeah. RVSN still moving. Let me take a look here at ONMD real fast. Maybe that bottom is in. What did that line up? Not quite.
I think there's some more down moves coming with this one.
With RVSN or ONMD? ONMD. Yeah, ONMD. I'm with you on that.
I'm not confident that we're completely reversing here. We might get some up moves, but I don't think we're getting back up to where we opened at quite yet.
Yeah, I don't like this as a great setup here, but the one thing that I'm noticing here is obviously we've come into that level and the volume has turned from selling pressure to buying volume, or excuse me, from selling volume to buying volume. Which one? Our Rev B?
Yep, they're open and looks like they're trying to choose a direction. It's
actually the spread has tightened up a little bit here too.
I think it might halt again.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Low float.
Trading halt.
Really low float.
Trading halt. This is your third halt, your second downside halt, I believe. Rev B, but that's what happens, right? That's what happens when you reduce these shares outstanding. You're going to get these halts because you're going to get these big moves in a short time frame. That's what we're seeing here. Rev B.
Yep. Looks like Pally is still okay. Pally's about to create the next candle here, and it's trying to push up into the 40s still.
Load that up here.
Not getting there quite yet, but it still looks like it has pretty good volume, so it could push up there. But
Robert,
sorry, go ahead.
So no. I thought you were done. You're not.
No, I was just saying there's still a lot of size, up in the 140s up to 150. So there could be selling pressure. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I agree with you. Size at 140, high at 143. Robert mentioning RVSN here. RVSN is making that double top. Now, we did move through that 12 here on RVSN. Jane Smith, good morning, Jane. Great to see you again. ONMD is trying here. Crow says, Rev B, I had a falling out with the CEO. Is that story safe for the internet, Crow, or can you not tell that one? SoFi, by the way, came back in under 9. The one thing here to keep in mind with SoFi is that short of a breakdown, I actually think that this trading action is good, right? We're kind of compressing. We're going back and forth. We're discovering a new price level here. We're building above the VWAP. All of this stuff is good. We don't need to just take that gap and fill it in one move. We can actually do this over some time. So short. If we don't have a breakdown here on SoFi, let's put it this way. The longer we don't have a breakdown here on SoFi, the better I feel about this maybe filling that gap. We'll see.
Pally's still
Market Sniper mentioning Zim. Sorry, 13. I'm struggling today, my man.
It's okay. We're going to continue to have this verbal traffic jam. It's fine.
Verbal traffic jam, dude. We're coming up with terms. 13.
Look at Pally go. It's moving now. We probably are going to get quite a bit more movement here. Maybe once we get past 150.
No real pull yet on Pally.
Not really. No. Maybe the second candle out of the gate, but since then it was just testing 115, and we've moved up, and we're getting close to some EMA crossing soon here. So this could have legs. ONMD. Yeah, I want to see it close a 5-minute candle close over 120. I'd feel more comfortable maybe saying that there's some upside with that if it does that. Until then, I'm not sure.
Easy Mike mentioning Lab D. We talk about these ETFs all the time, and I think these are an underrated way to trade, right? Just because of the liquidity, how easy they can be to trade. Easy Mike, would love to hear, what are your thoughts here on the Lab D, Lab U? This is, of course, the Bayer biotech ETFs. One of the things that I was saying going into 2024 is I wonder how biotech is actually going to do. We've seen some of these stocks really move early. I'd like to know what kind of longer term view you have on some of these, and what kind of time frame you're looking at for trading these ETFs.
RBSN got up to 1295, and then I also noticed, Easy Mike, are you saying you're short China still on the Evergrande upgrade? I
saw a news report that that Evergrande was here. Let me find it. I don't want to misquote this because I'm going to get flipped.
there was a news article that came out over the weekend about some telecoms building in China. It's like a 42-story building that caught fire, which I thought was pretty representative of their real estate sector.
I have it right here. Let me just.
And RSVN is trying to push into 13.
RVSN, I think.
Yeah, we're at market could sell off due to civil war fears. Is this China civil war or what civil war? Or is it our civil war? Is it us? What do you say to QN?
Yeah, it was Evergrande, the default. Thank you, Born. I was trying to get the right word there. Default.
Oh.
Yeah, really appreciate it. Biggest real estate default in history, now trading at like 16 cents on Evergrande. So looks like you're looking for some more. You know, has Tom updated you on that?
No, actually.
That'll be interesting to talk to him about today.
Yep. If anybody's able to join us in happy hour this afternoon, please do so. If you got a pro subscription, there's going to be some really good conversation in there off of that information with China.
Yeah, and real quickly here, I am going to plug this. The happy hour show that we're referring to also has its own chat channel. So the happy hour Zoom meeting happens daily, but the chat channel is 24/7. And like this gentleman I'm referring to, Tom, is someone that is boots on the ground in Asia, right? In Taiwan. So we get a lot of updated information on what's going on there. It'll be really interesting to see if there's any news on that. But just wanted to quickly plug this. Good shout, 13. Let me move back to my main workspace.
RVSN 1329. Holy crap.
Here we go.
Okay, QN, I got you. U.S. Texas Civil War fears. I don't think that's what's going to happen. Not that there isn't some kind of conflict happening with the border situation, but I think that's going to get handled in Congress in short order soon. But that's just my opinion.
Jane, the link appears at the bottom of Pro every day. Once you sign up, the link is also emailed to you. Good question.
What else? Looks like ONMD is still not able to get over that 120 level that I'd want to see it close at. MDAI breaking down.
DWAC may be bouncing. That is not nearly as active as it was last week. ONMD doing a good job curling off that bottom. Maybe we did find an intraday bottom there.
Yeah, any negative news that comes out regarding Trump is probably going to pull DWAC down. So
definitely.
That's going to be something to watch for. You got to kind of have your eyes on the news for that. And I think lately it's some of the lawsuits that he's dealing with that's helping pull that down. But I did give dates for primaries to watch for where we could see the stock turn around and move back up.
And let's face it, guys, he's his own worst enemy, because what's going to happen right now is that the whole thing with him and Haley back and forth, there's going to be a whole bunch of headlines that come out and this and that. Haley was on CNBC this morning. So this stuff's going to be volatile. We've outlined that considerably. I agree with your premise there, 13.
Well, Vera had a nice move out of the gate, kind of under the radar though.
SoFi, again, doing a really good job holding that VWAP, moving up to the top side of the range. Remember, we talked about this kind of just hanging in there. I agree with you, 13. Tamaya, sure looks like that's going to happen here. You mentioned Vero. We'll check on that here real fast.
If we can, there's a big amount of shares at 910, but if the buyers come in and eat through that, then, there's about 250 shares that need to get eaten up in order to break out here. But let's see if the bids can come in.
And so I know we briefly talked last week about the Stanley Cup craze. Mm-hmm. Well, I went and outdid myself. Like I said, I went to Costco this weekend. Costco has Thermoflask, which is a tumbler that I'm familiar with, that is literally looks like the Stanley Cup. I got a 2-pack for $24. So you can take your Stanley Cup hype and shove it, because Costco's got one and it was spectacular, and it's a 2-pack.
I ended up getting a couple of Stanley Cups for my boys because, the internet got them.
The internet got them. You know what? Enough said, 13. The internet got them. The internet marketing. By the way, RVSN continuing to push here above 13, doing a decent job building above it. 1335 to high print. Really not a lot of size there if it takes it off.
And here goes SoFi. It's trying to make that move. It ate through some of that supply. Probably in the next minute to 5 minutes, we'll probably end up seeing a bigger move out here.
Wes, so this is funny. I went back and forth on this. I had a couple of discussions with some friends about this. It's funny. The marketing got me. Well, here's the thing. The Stanley Cup is not new, right? Like a nice thermos is always good to have. And like I said, I've got a couple of them. I've got my Yeti one that goes in my golf bag. I've actually got it right here. All right. So I have a Yeti thermos that I carry with me in my golf bag. So I'm no stranger to thermoses. But let me tell you something. When I saw the deal and I was like, oh, I get 2 of these and I get them for less than the price of 1 Stanley Cup, I was like, oh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that.
Only Swifties,
use Stanley Cups. Well, you know what, Jay?
Okay.
Thankfully, I've got a thermo flask. Isn't that right, buddy?
I didn't know that was the thing. Thank you for informing me. I appreciate that.
Size building just a little here on RVSN at that 1335 high.
I'm doing SoFi right now. I think we're going to get that move. We just got to break through 920.
I think you're right here on SoFi. Wow. Easy Mike mentioning SOXS pops. So you're talking about those ETFs again. Was also wondering about that. Anyone setting up shorts for this week on some of these chip stocks, tech stocks? Anyone? Easy Mike, is that a swing day trade? Go ahead, 13.
I think that I was just going to do SQQQ. I'm going to do that at all.
Yep. And here's the thing. If you do it early in the week and you get any type of profit, you can actually kind of carry that throughout the rest of the week. Depending on how much you get, you actually might be able to take gains along with the different reports to pay yourself on the way. VWAP bounce on Pally. Robert Smith's got his eyes locked to it. Absolutely love it. 920 up here on SoFi, big size. So here, Pally's back to VWAP. I do want to watch SoFi here, 13. We're right at that spot.
Yeah, and ONMD is coming in. I didn't feel good about that one. It just didn't look like it was going to have the strength to get over 120. Uh-oh. SoFi getting some pressure.
Not yet here. Yep. So, but remember the Coke machine or the vending machine analogy. You can't just knock it over on your first attempt. You got to rock it back and forth. We'll see if SoFi pops through that 920 on its next attempt.
Yeah, it's starting to get that support eaten through. If it breaks down through 910, we could see a lower print. Oh, Pally still hanging in there. Rail Vision still pushing the new highs, 1345 now. Be interested to see if we reverse at 14.
Someone shout if SoFi turns back up. You know what? I'll put this on a different chart so I can kind of monitor it. How about that?
It's kind of just between 910 and 920 right now.
Yeah.
Who's going to win it? Bears or the Bulls?
From a trading perspective with SoFi, I think that's one of the things I like about it. Like if you can telegraph with the range that you want to trade, the stock doesn't move around all that crazy, right? It's fairly easy in terms of its movement to trade. Easy Mike mentioning Rumble. That was another a move from last week. Let's take a look here at Rumble. RVSN coming back up to that 350, by the way.
Yep. New highs.
RUM breakout from Friday's intraday high. We're breaking out now on RUM. Good call here on RUM. CRBP from Jay Wild. That was another one from last week. Curling Crow was on this earlier here. Maybe we're moving off the VWAP. CRBP. Big spread there on CRBP.
Yeah, some of these are still moving from last week, but their volume is so low, I don't even want to play around with it. Archer's had a nice move out of the open after coming down under 5. It always seems like a.
Go ahead. No. I interrupted you again.
Just it looks like Archer. Every time we go under 5, it seems like a good time to start rebuilding a position. Then once it breaks out over 5, you can start thinking about taking profit.
Yeah, and this looks like this is right up on the 200 day on that daily. Looks like it's riding right above that.
Let me look on the daily chart because I have a shorter time frame. It's yeah. That's where support is, kind of on that 200-day SMA. Yeah. Rail Vision at 14. It went all the way up to 14. I bet it comes back in now.
So it did take off that 1350. Yeah, and now it's moving here. SoFi looks like it's turning back up to that 920 area here, currently at 918.
Yep. Yeah, it really wants to get over 920, doesn't it?
E2 Computers, you're mentioning Lucid. That was what, $2 earlier. Ooh, nice power candle here on Lucid. Good shout there, E2. We looked at this earlier. It wasn't this high. Moving here. Decent volume there too, Lucid.
I thought I saw another EV company moving this morning. Is there some EV news that I missed?
Was it Rivian?
Help me, chat. What's the news?
Rivian has the similar formation, and Tesla is the opposite formation.
Okay, RVSN is trying to push through 14. It got it to 1409. So that 500-day SMA is trying to provide resistance, but so far not doing too well unless we get a big pull here. Rev B got up to 18 and going higher. SoFi still trying to knock on that door of 920.
SoFi, hanging out here. Let's take a look at that real fast.
I'm inclined to believe that MDAI is probably going to go lower, maybe down to 3.
920 coming up here on SoFi. Looks like we're going to make another attempt at knocking on the 920 door here.
There, it's through.
And bang, right through, right to 925.
All right, let's see how this runs, because there's a lot of bids coming in.
And I have size at 925 and 930.
Yeah, they really want to push this thing back down.
They're trying the 925 now here. Look at those orders on the time and sales.
Yep.
It's crazy when the stock goes to the levels, the trading action really kind of picks up in intensity. That's what we're seeing here on the time and sales.
Yeah, that 920 was a great level. And
yeah,
925 is going to be another one.
And there it goes.
See some more movement. There we go.
Robert mentioning a Pally knife here. That's a knife below VWAP, so be careful on that one. SoFi still got the strength here. Let's see what SoFi does if it yanks from where it's at here.
Well, I have no idea what RVSN is going to do anymore. It went up to 1540. So,
well, I am really, really thankful that what we said this morning, it's not over till it's over. And guess what? Today it's showing us that it ain't over, at least not yet here, RVSN.
Yeah, I think this is still in blue sky territory. It has been for some time now, I believe. So, I mean, really, at this point, if you're using fibs, I think that's probably going to be one of your best bets for levels. Other than that, not really sure. It can be whatever it wants to be. Looks like RAVB, again, is halted. That's what, the fourth one now?
Yeah, and this is your Rev B halt is your fourth one. This one to the downside, 1580 your halt price on Rev B. RVSN continuing to push here. I'll tell you what, the little blocks of size that we're seeing above it have proven to be no match for the upside momentum here. So unless it's really big, I might not even call them.
There's just a lot of people here in this one just going, okay, I guess I'll sell here. I guess I'll take this profit.
Kevin is asking, 13, what were you going to talk about regarding to SQQQ? Sorry, Kevin, this might have been one of the runovers on him.
Didn't have anything really to cover. It was just asked how I was going to play semiconductors to the downside or tech to the downside. And I was like, oh, I'll just do SQQ if anything.
Okay. Oh, for the earnings, right? So you were talking about using SQQQ for earnings exposure instead of the individual names. There you go, Kevin. Good question.
Yeah.
Good stuff, 13.
Yep. So thank you. So SoFi 927 was the highs, the last 5-minute candle. We are making our way through the next one and trying to push into new highs. A lot of resistance here between 925 and 930. So if the bids start building up again, we could push to the next 10-cent level.
926 has the size, and then 930 here.
Oh yeah,
just outlining.
926 just got a huge set of orders there to sell.
Jay Rice mentioning he thinks that the SQQQ, the thing is broken. Jay, let me ask you, with SQQQ and SOXS, would you feel better about them post a reverse split? I know we talk about reverse splits on actual equities, a little bit different on these ETFs. Do you think that they would trade better after we get a reverse split? Both of these bear ETFs here really kind of low in price.
MDAI is getting down to that 130 level I was mentioning. I don't know if it's going to get support here. It probably might, but it's just not looking great right now. And I have a lot of EMA crossings to the downside coming up, so I'm not 100% sure this looks good. Is the $3 level, or $3.305? That's pretty big. That's a pretty big level if you look to the left, especially in pre-market here. It's been support all morning.
Agree.
If you break down through that, then it's probably going to start getting ugly.
Totally agree.
Yeah, so RVSN, no surprise, making new highs. SoFi got to 930.
ONMD is actually coiling here. So in addition to holding this level that we talked about, we talked about, hey, one of the things that we want to do is confirm that this actually has a bottom before we end up trading it. Now we're starting to coil around this, 90, let's just call it right around that round $1 area. Still no position, still don't feel good about it, but worth monitoring here. Coil here on ONMD. I don't see anything on the Twitter streets yet.
If ONMD can hold above, like, let's say 85 to 90 cents, if it can hold in that area, there might be good chance this comes back. But I still think we're looking at some downside for this one. Pally holding that 115. Not sure about that one at the moment. RAVB still halted. SoFi popped to 935 and then came back in. That one's showing some strength. Not sure that this is done with its upside yet, but just wait and see what happens in the next 5-10 minutes. Zim hasn't really come back from its morning opening pop to 1504. So taking that profit off the top in the morning was my move. I'm waiting for it to come back in a little, and I'll reload.
Hey, Sam, good to see you back here this morning. No offense, none taken. Live is only for penny stock trades only, not like before when Zunaid traded option and Mitch traded other stocks. I came back to live trading after a while. I would respectfully disagree with you. The two open positions that I have now, neither of them are penny stocks. We've outlined the thesis for them quite a bit. We actually covered quite a bit of stock of some of the larger stocks today. AMD, Tesla, to name a few. I wouldn't consider SoFi a penny stock either. That's probably one of the biggest movers. RVSN, kind of junky, but tough to consider this a penny stock. This has been a multi-day mover. Basically, what we do is we focus on what's moving here. I will admit I'm not the biggest option guy, but I also told you about two different option swing trades that I opened last week, one on DuPont and one on Humana. Neither of those penny stocks. So every day is going to be a little bit different, but we're going to trade what's moving. I would say this for encouragement. If you see some type of setup or there's some other stock that you want to take a look at, let's kind of go over those levels and then watch them. A lot of what we do here is we flip back and forth to the stocks that we're watching and moving.
And we do talk about some of these other moves. But I think there's a good point there. We probably should get somebody who has a lot more options trading. And
I'm working on that.
Yeah. Okay. Great. See, there we go.
I'm working on that. I'm working on a couple of different segments for this show that specialize in some of those other things. Options being one of them. Zero DTE, by the way, being another.
Yeah, I'm not really good with options, so I kind of stay away from those. I like these. What we're doing right now, the movers and long-term investing.
Absolutely. And
go ahead.
I was going to say with options, the other thing is that I'm starting to take a different approach with options to maybe structure it so the risk is a little bit more defined. That was kind of the impetus between the butterflies that I put on last week. Well, I do want to trade these things if they bounce back. I really kind of want to limit the risk, especially in a stock like Humana, where some of those contracts can be really expensive.
Yeah, and at the risk of sounding like a smartass, this is live trading, not live investing. And I think that when we're talking about these longer term trades, they're more investments. And
Market Sniper hitting it right on the head here. He's saying exactly what you're saying, 13. Live trading is about the movers. A lot of the times, some of these penny stocks will move. But look, we do not discriminate here. If there is we do this all the time with like the actual penny stocks, the stocks that are literal pennies. I never even trade those, but the chat does, so we talk about them. And we'll keep doing that no matter what the price is.
Yeah, so I hope you stick around. We're going to try to get you some of these bigger names for longer term. But that's not really our focus. Our focus is really just what's moving, where we can get capture some of this volume and this price action.
And the larger point here is that really want to appreciate Sam for reaching out, because feedback is one of the things that make us better. And here at Benzinga, it's not just on this show. It's not just with me. It is a core principle of what we do here. We want to hear about that feedback. So I actually really appreciate how Sam handled this. This wasn't a troll comment. This was actual constructive feedback. That's exactly what we want to do here. So let's keep that up. And if you guys ever want to reach out to me in private regarding feedback, let me go ahead and throw my email here in the chat, you can do that as well.
Looks like
No hard
RVSN
feelings, folks.
Oh, absolutely. Looks like RVSN finally decided to come back in. I think this may just be a cooling off in this one before we rip higher. But let's see where how far down we go with this move. It has absolutely ripped out of the gate. This does need to kind of come back in a bit.
Pally curling off that bottom here. We're at VWAP. Let's see if we take it and move higher.
Yeah, I think it needs to get above 128 or 129, Pally. RVSN holding this level around 15-ish. MSTR seems just to go sideways. What is Bitcoin at? I haven't looked at that.
Bitcoin here, 42,215 on the Bitcoin futures.
Okay, so looking for an up move in Bitcoin, it seems. SoFi still trying to going sideways right now. You know, this is probably one of that time of the day where we're starting to see a lot of things just cool off, kind of wait to reset and reload. A lot of things pulling.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier. The SoFi pullback to VWAP is going to be telling. Do we get another move off of the VWAP here? What happens if VWAP? Does the stock break down? Does the selling start to accelerate? I got to say, on SoFi, I'd almost be tempted to take a stab long here if we come back into the VWAP. It's definitely got the underlying strength we're looking for. ONMD still doing its little coil thing. MDAI maybe curling back towards that VWAP. Thanks, Sal. We appreciate that. Appreciate all of the feedback from you folks. FRSX beasting or breaking? Sorry, I read that wrong. That's
no. Let's go with beasting.
Okay. Well, never mind. Freudian slip, right? I think this was actually a newsletter. Let me see. I've got someone that monitors. Give me a sec.
I like the new terms that make sense. Beasting sounds great. It's like, oh yeah, something's breaking out, but this is a whole nother level of breakout. It's beasting.
Yeah, I do have someone here saying that FRSX was a newsletter. Don't have confirmation on which one that was, but keep that in mind as well.
It's not bad. I mean, it's kind of seems to have slowed down pretty quickly. SoFi coming down to 9. Looks like it's time to take some profit in SoFi. This is, I think, the level here is going to be 9.
I've got VWAP. I've got VWAP at 895 on SoFi here.
I got it at 904, but I'll
tell you what. I kind of want to watch this one just to see if I can take a trade here. I might not flip around as much. 13, FYI.
Yeah, I think. Okay, so in the pre-market we were making highs of 896. That seems to be like the level. So 896 to 9. We might get some more buyers coming in, and so far it looks like it's trying to rebound right now, but we'll see. No position in SoFi. Yeah,
I'd actually like it to come in a little bit closer to the VWAP before I take a stab at it, but to your point, you're right here. It is definitely trying to bounce so far. So far. There's a joke in there somewhere, but I can't place it.
Looks like REVB picking up some volume here, trying to get back up to. I got to be careful with this one because every time I start seeing it move a lot, I know that there's probably going to be a halt in there somewhere because of how low float this thing is.
REVB, yeah.
Yeah, so don't get caught in one of those halts.
But this is what I mean about knowing your target, right? 13, like you know that going ahead of time. So now you're structuring your trade around that as to not get yourself caught. So I would imagine size, the amount of size you take has a big role in that plan.
Yeah.
Nick mentioning Lucid up 20% here today. We took a look at Lucid earlier. Oh my God, that thing's going vertical here on Lucid. So you're right, 13. Was there something about just EVs in general?
I don't know. Let me look and see.
Yeah, I kind of want to look around
Lucid's
too.
News. I wonder if I don't know. I thought is Tesla's weakness, other EV companies gain, is it their strength? That's just a thought. I don't know if that's what's happening.
Yeah, and I'm looking at some of these other stocks here as well. Rivian, Neo News. I don't really see anything out there.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know if you folks out there have any news on this one. This is I don't see anything.
He did it. No, this is wild too, because their float is 1.16 billion. So this is quite a move.
Lucid.
Yeah.
That's a big move for Lucid. Yeah, you're right about that. Jonathan saying EV rotation. I mean, aren't EVs still kind of out of favor in terms of its demand? I mean, I know that there's a place for EVs, of course, and eventually we're likely going to move to EVs when the technology gets better. But I don't know, Jonathan, maybe
it's just Lucid's short squeezing. They got 22% short floated or float shorted, and their days to cover is 6.5. Probably likely one of the big things about it right now. That's it. So other than that, I really can't seem to find anything else on why it's moving like this.
What are some other Li Auto? How about FSR?
FSR was probably
FSR, very similar chart to Lucid here.
They also got high short interest too.
Lee coming up off the bottom. Jenny mentioning, FSR going too. Jay, interesting. Jay Rice could be a Saudi rumor. That way, so this, Jay, you could be onto something here, because a Saudi rumor like that, we wouldn't necessarily find that as news. Lucid appears to be leading the group here. You might be right. You might be on. I'll keep my ear open for that.
Oh, that's great. Good call. Good find.
For that. Yeah.
What else? Hearing
insurance companies are in favor, so that should be good for my Humana trade, right?
Look at KIE and hold on. There's another one too, because I was looking at these last week. Hold on a second. I'll get you the other one I was looking at.
Okay.
KBWP. So KIE and KBWP. Look at how much these have moved in the so far this year.
Nice daily charts on these.
Yeah. No, I know they're not Humana and United Health. I'm just saying they're an insurance ETF. And that kind of gives you an idea of what insurance is doing in general. And when you look at the daily charts on both of these, you can see that since basically, towards after the first quarter of last year, these have been on a pretty good run.
ONMD, we have interaction with the VWAP coming up here on ONMD.
Yeah, trying to still go for, okay, so yeah, if you get to over 120, that looks good. There's a big size at 117 that's trying to push through. And then the next levels would probably be 130.
Okay, so 123 and 130 here.
Here we go. Trying to get through 120.
13, I'm going to step away for 1 sec. You got it?
Oh, absolutely. So there's that one that's moving up. Oh, wait, here we go. Trying to push through 120. MDAI still looking like it's headed down. I'm getting shuffled all around. How about that? PALI.
Sorry, I'm trying to find the right one here.
No problem. SoFi is trying to come back, it looks like. 926. That's at right now, trying to push up to 930. Zim may be rebounding. Not sure if that's what's happening, but it's got a good sized green candle after falling down to about 1405. Webcoin Pally to 174 seems probable. Let me take a double look at that. I just had Pally. Where'd that go? There it is. Yeah, I have a 171 as a level in Pally, so I could see that if we can start trading above my VWAP again. I can see that happening if we get to a certain level. Right now, it needs to come off this 120 area, but that's just what I'm seeing. But yeah, Webcoin, I agree. Jay Rice, I hear the what Ryan mentioned. Humana. Okay, so if you're just talking medical insurance ETFs, then you're probably right, because the KIE and the other one that was mentioned, they're not just medical insurance. You're absolutely right. I was just talking insurance in general. It seems like insurance has been a big play over the past 9 months.
All right, sorry about that. Thanks, 13.
Sure. MDAI still not looking great. I still think that that 307 level might be the support we need, and if we break down through that, then you might have to wait later for this one to move again.
So check out SoFi. We didn't quite get to the VWAP, right back on here to the highs on SoFi. That's that underlying strength that we were talking about earlier, still maintaining here.
Yeah, it can go the other way too. Absolutely. Rum. Looks like the rum is gone. But why is the rum gone?
Never was a big fan of rum. Too sweet.
Yeah, it's more of a mixer for me if I'm going to have a mixed drink.
ONMD did move through that VWAP, so here we go. That move off that 102 level, that was the move.
120, I think, is the level we needed to get over. Now, if we can close this candle and get some more upside, I think 130 is on deck. This is going to have a lot of supply to get through because of the way pre-market was trading. Lots of bag holders, we'll call them, in that area. So
why is the rum always gone? Is this a Game of Thrones reference that I'm not getting?
No, that's Pirates of the Caribbean, the very first one.
Not even close. Strike one. Strike one for Ryan right there. Let's go back to SoFi here.
Yeah, it looks like it still wants to take 930 again. How's everybody's trading going? I've only done a couple things. I sold Zim out of the gate, and I traded Pally earlier this morning. That's about it.
Yeah, I'm on no new trades here yet today. I'm just kind of monitoring things. I don't see the setup. The best setup here was probably RVSN, and it was just, I don't know. Oh, these are the warrants. These are the warrants. This is what Sydney was trading. Yeah, it's just the spread. The spread scares me away. I gotta figure out a way to play these. So that's what I gotta work on. I'll think about that.
Well, I mean, RVSN looks like it's flagging, or at least bullpen it pretty nicely. Let's see here. As far as levels go, yeah, I'd probably wanted to see it hold 14.
K-Man here. Yes, K-Man, I will get you this answer. What are the short shares on Lucid? Okay, so here's Pro. Let's take a look at the short interest tab. As of January 24th, so this is a fresh print here, 21.97% of the float is shorted. Looks like we have a days to cover on this at about 6.5. So I would consider this high short interest here. We are seeing that move here today, but there you go, K-Man. There is your short interest. Remember, these are not estimated. These are updated per the filings here. So 21.97% of the float shorted here on Lucid. Boy, this thing is ripping up 26.5% today. Good question, though, K-Man.
And that's 256 million shares as the number of shares of the float shorted. And this thing, remember when this thing was trading in the 40s and the 50s?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That hype was real.
And so speaking about the hype, 13, that's actually a really good comment. Speaking about the hype here, I was hyped on Lucid because of the actual vehicle itself. Meaning and actually here, let me actually get Lucid up here in the trading platform. I felt the hype on Lucid because of the car. I love the car. In fact, of all of the EVs out there, this one is my favorite. But it's a reminder that the actual product itself and the stock price may not jive. And just because you like the car, I mean, like you were saying, the stock was around 40. I like the stock at 7. And had an options trade that ended up not working on it. Here we are down at 2, pushing into a 3 handle.
Yeah, I think these EV companies are running into that same problem that Tesla ran into with production. And I know that Musk made a big point about, it's going to hurt at some point for these EV companies, and they're all really strapped for cash, and production isn't what they thought it would be. So it's quite interesting to see how all of these just kind of taking big move down.
SoFi, a little bit of a knife here. We'll see if that comes into a support level. Though remember the last time that this came back in, we didn't quite get to that VWAP, so I ended up not loading the trade here.
Yeah, we seen anything that really has some strength right now besides Lucid? Well, even Lucid's starting to come in. It looks like there's just what is it, market pull? Is that what everybody's seeing?
Yeah, SPY pulling here, Q's pulling here, Dow pulling across the board. Interestingly, Bitcoin highs here, 42,400. So this is up off the lows that we talked about earlier.
Oh yeah, that's another thing that we have this week as well. I think the Fed FOMC meeting is this week. No, I'm sorry, it's not. Is it? Hold on, I need to get a date for you before I say something wrong.
What? No, hold on. First of all, let me see if look at this. Alyssa, she's out here holding it down for us. Thank you, Alyssa, for getting these graphics up here. Here is your economic calendar for the week. Here's your look ahead. Tomorrow, S&P Case-Shiller Home Price Index at 9 a.m., job openings and consumer confidence at 10 a.m.
Yep.
You were asking about what? The
Fed interest rate decision. That's on Wednesday.
Yeah,
and then we also have the
non-farm payrolls on Friday. Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one too. Because I know that I've always been saying since we've been getting this whole rate raising path and now into rate cuts, that the jobs are the last pillar to fall in this economy. If we start losing jobs, then there's going to be bills that aren't going to get paid. That's why you see a lot of these banks raising their credit loss provisions. They're anticipating that people are not going to be able to pay their bills.
Real quick here. We talked about it earlier. We might as well just take another look at it. Here is your earnings graphic for the week. As you can see, we still have SMCI. You know, we should take a look at that. I haven't even pulled that up here today. SMCI, you talked about that this morning, 13, and it was out of sight, out of mind for me. SMCI reporting after hours here today. Remember, they did a preliminary release, I believe, last week. And then tomorrow morning, before the market opens, we're going to have Pfizer, GM, UPS, and Marathon. Prior to even opening. Wow. A lot of stuff going on this week.
Tuesday to Thursday. That's going to be some big earnings days. SMCI, by the way, it does look like it's trying to get some support at VWAP and move up. I don't even know why I'm looking at this. I'm not interested in trading. I guess it's just,
it was
topical. Yeah, it was
topical. Exactly. Topical is the right word there.
Not like an ointment or anything.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, just everything is starting to come in. Even Zim still coming in. One Med got up to got up to 120, came back in a bit. Looks like it's trying to set up for another push above 120, but we'll see if that happens.
It's doing a good job holding here at the VWAP too, right? It's definitely using this as resistance, but it's not breaking down. SoFi really kind of having trouble getting back up to that 935 so far, but that ain't over yet.
Let's see. Rev B, it's interesting. This has just been kind of going sideways all morning through halts. You'd expect there to be some movement in one direction or the other with this many halts. Nope.
Really, it's actually really kind of holding that tight range here, given all that. It's been all over the place. Just goes to show you what that low float's going to do. It moves so fast, so quickly, it ends up halting. Okay, I'm trying to confirm some news here real quick. And Lynn and Randy, I really appreciated this one. I thought we had Squawk all figured out until we tried to listen to it at the same time as live trading. Look, there are some days, Lynn, where I try to put Squawk on in my headphones while I'm doing the show. You think it's hard while you're watching it. Think about while you're trying to do it. Sometimes it's hard to read that news there from Charlie, especially if there's a lot of stuff going on.
Ryan, like a news anchor. I'm sorry, what was that? It's running? We have reports that SoFi is running.
Oh, man.
Looks like ONMD has made that push up to almost 130. It's a push we were looking and hoping for.
I'm looking something up here for Rivian, so just give me a sec. I'm seeing something floating around on the internet, but y'all know what that can mean.
A big question mark.
A big question mark. I mean, I'll read it, but let's consider this. I haven't confirmed this. Right, you need a drink. No, don't need any drinks at 9:30 in the morning other than coffee. What's up?
You're talking about the fact that Rivian, or not the fact that Rivian is apparently trying to pull executives from Apple.
Yes.
They're pulled.
Yes. So here, okay. So if you're seeing that, then I'm on to something here. 13. Here we go. Apple veteran This is a tweet. Apple veteran DJ Novotny, who led work on home devices and helped start efforts to develop an electric vehicle, is leaving to join Rivian to become a VP of vehicle programs. That is a Bloomberg sighting. This is a tweet that I saw posted here, but the Bloomberg is the citation there. So what do you think about that?
That's the second executive to leave Apple to go to Rivian.
Yeah.
And the one that, for the newsfeed that I got, DJ Novotny.
Yep.
He was vice president of engineering at Apple. You said all that, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I said he worked on home devices to help start efforts to develop the electric vehicle. I didn't get his title, but that makes sense.
And okay, so Amazon is still tied to Rivian. Is that still the case?
I believe.
Okay. So it's interesting. He's moving from one Mag 7 to go work with a company that works with another Mag 7. It's interesting. I don't know if it would give me hope for Rivian, because they need sales. It's interesting. I don't know if it's market moving interesting, but it's interesting.
SoFi, by the way, back up towards the highs here. Size at 930. We're right under it at 929 on SoFi.
That has been a level. As soon as we popped above it, got smacked down. Now we're trying to get back above it again. It's going. Killed that size, and now we're getting support. This thing is probably going to start moving here. SoFi. Unless sellers come in and just knock it back down. This is a fight. I love it. Look at MSTR has just been slowly going up out of the gate. It was under 500. Now it's hit a peak of 508.31.
Here's MSTR. Watch that SoFi at that 935. If we get there, here is your MSTR.
Yeah.
This actually looks like more of a curl here. If Bitcoin keeps moving, this could be great.
Zim dipped down beneath 14. Now it's trying to put a bottom in. It looks like it's right off of the 200 EMA on the 5-minute.
Yeah, Zim, this has been weak here, but to your point, we'll see if we have an intraday bottom put in.
ONMD still trying to push up through 130, 131, it looks like, but it's going up. It's making its way through that supply from pre-market. Next level after 130
ONMD, here we go.
Is 145. Looks like Lucid's flagging.
Basim mentioning some data coming in on SPY. I've got the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Business Index for January, minus 27.4 versus the minus 10.4 prior reading. I'll be honest, I don't really follow that print a whole lot, but that is the data that I'm seeing. Basim?
Yeah.
SoFi, we might be coming up on a test here. SoFi 935.
I see a lot of big orders at 950, but there are some on the way up, like in 5-cent increments. Looks like Rev B is taking off here.
FRSX owns 10.2% of RVSN's outstanding share capital.
We might get a halt in Rev B again if we get this more movement like this. Just kind of had a pop there. Remember, this thing went to $22 in the pre-market.
Bring this. Let me actually, yeah, it's just spread. I don't see a whole lot of action here, but again,
it's got like a dollar spread.
I know it's nuts. I'm like looking at this. I'm like, I'm just making sure I'm correct before I say anything. But man,
Had somebody in happy hour chat asking, any idea why DraftKings is selling off? And I'm just thinking, well, probably because it's a Niners Chiefs Super Bowl.
Yeah. I think that I really do think that the audience, the football audience, not for the game yesterday, but like the generic football audience, I think they're a little tired of the Chiefs, frankly. Maybe that's just my biased read because I'm tired of the Chiefs, but we just saw a Chiefs 49ers Super Bowl. The story would have been Detroit in the Super Bowl. I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
Detroit Ravens Super Bowl would have been great. The other thing is the Detroit Chiefs Super Bowl would have been great. Remember, that was the first game of the year. The Thursday night game to open the season this year was Chiefs Lions in Arrowhead, and the Lions beat them when the Chiefs didn't have Travis Kelce. So a rematch to end the same football season. I'm sure that's what people wanted. Maybe that is actually affecting DraftKings. You know, we talked about this last week in Happy Hour. There were several of the traders in there that were looking at plays on some of the gambling stocks. Penn was another one, right? PENN. If we take a look at that, that's similar performance here to DraftKings, although DraftKings moved up and then reversed pretty hard.
As Juan, am I pronouncing your name right? Mikado pointed out, ONMD is moving up again. We broke through that 130 level and got all the way up to almost to that 145 that I'd mentioned earlier. So
SoFi at 935 here, and they're taking it.
Yeah, big size on ONMD at 148.
And here's ONMD. Good job staying on top of this.
Oh yeah, look at some of these are going now. Looks like RVSN might be trying to reverse. I don't know. Yeah, MDAI, that went all the way down to where I was through where I was talking about, and it's trying to pop back up. I don't know about MDAI. It might try to reverse here, but we would need to see some movement up towards 330 in order for me to feel good about that.
This feels weak to me. And actually looking at this 3-minute chart here with the MACD, this looks like this histogram might expand to the downside here.
Yep. SoFi made new highs, 939. And now it's selling off a bit, but still holding some levels.
I actually have 940 as a print there, but that might have been very small volume.
Anybody that was on ONMD, you got a nice chunk of change there. Where's Rev B at? Okay,
ONMD here, the move was to wait that sell-off out. We talked about this, right? We talked about this wanting to firm up. Wasn't sure if this, pre-market low here was really going to be it. It did firm up. We actually back tested that same level. That would have been pretty good. And then a move back up to the VWAP. There's definitely some price discovery there. Now we're moving ahead on ONMD. I would say at this point, if you took it off that curl, definitely make sure some of those gains are booked. I did see that VIX pop. My chart has what looks like a broken candle there.
Looks like Rev B is trying to make another go at some new intraday highs. Trying to gear up for it. Some nice movement this morning. Looks like a bunch of stuff just now. I saw that Jade said a pop in the VIX. So are we seeing some things sell off here?
Well, so no, see, this is interesting. This is kind of what I was looking at. If you take a look at the VIX chart, I do see a pop, but I see almost like it's one of those candles that was in error, right? Like almost like they fixed something. So it popped to 1535, but it's right back down here at 1394. So I'm thinking that's like a ghost print or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Jane, ONMD out at 148. Nice trade, Jane.
Great job.
Ring that register again.
Yeah, that had a nice curl. RVSN, I
haven't looked at that one in a bit.
Might be trying to come
right
off
on
this
that VWAP
bottom. Yeah. Yeah, this one could be.
You know what? I'm gonna try this small just to have some action here. Oh wow, it took that out and filled me at the high end of that. Darn, that was a bad entry. Starter here, small on RVSN. I just want some action.
Yeah, you might get it.
Well, I mean, we're right here at the VWAP. Let's see if we push off above that. A break beneath this VWAP probably no good for this trade, but Let's see, we want a 1350 maybe on that downside.
It's hanging in there, but you do have 1442 is a wall, a bit of a wall. The fact that SoFi is still hanging up here is pretty good. It's just a slow, slow climber.
Yep, makes it easier to trade, honestly.
GNPX rising, says Sydney Osborne. I will take a look at that. Oops. Okay, what's happening with this one? Penny stock. So normally I wouldn't trade stuff like this. It had
Which
data.
one are you looking at? I'm sorry.
GNPX. It had data.
Oh, GNPX, yep.
It had data earlier this month. I don't see what it's moving off of. Float's not that small. Not sure what's going on with this one.
GNPX, I traded that years ago when it was a newer issue. They had a cancer treatment, but I stopped following it.
Cancer and oncology were some pretty big buzzwords in 2020.
Yeah, indeed. It might have actually, I think I was trading it even before that, maybe 2017, 2018.
Looks like REVB is still in play, trying to make some new intraday highs.
How's the spread on that? Still bad? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's not as bad, but it's still not good. I think it went from being $1 spread to now being about 40, 50 cent spread.
Sydney reminding us, Zunaid did an interview with GNPX.
Oh. Anybody seen anything setting up? I'm just cycling through all the names we were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
Looks like
I'm trying to
things
look
are trying
at
to find a
Twitter
bottom.
streets too.
Yep. Okay, RVSN still making a push here.
Wellness Matters mentioning Tesla. You can take a look at that here. Ooh, Tesla, you're right. Popping into the high end of the range. So Tesla finally making a move here today. Off that 185 level, right near VWAP here, 187.5. Nice $2.50 move. Lynn, what do you add out there?
It needed to. It was so oversold. This thing was, I was anticipating this was going to pop at some point real soon here. I thought it might have been like Thursday or Friday, but looks like it's today. Yeah, and it's still oversold too. Still has an RSI.
Sharp eye there, Wellness Matters. Appreciate that. Lynn playing Tesla VWAP bounce. Here's FGen. You guys are mentioning this. This looks like a penny stock on a big rip here, expanding volume, pressing near the highs. 134, your high print here. We pulled off that spot here, FGen.
Oh man, look at that one.
Thoughts on Amazon earnings? This is a good question here. Thoughts on, oops, highlighted the wrong comment here. Thoughts on Amazon earnings. So I don't have any line on whether the stock's going to trade higher or lower. I do want to know what Amazon reports because I feel like that's going to help us judge the strength of the consumer, which is something we've been talking about for a while. By the way, SoFi bouncing a little bit here. 940, your intraday high print. Looks like it's curling back up towards that area here on SoFi. If you guys are mentioning Rev B, looks like that's going here. Let me bring that up.
Yeah.
Rev B did break out of that. What? And halted. Okay, so it's into a halt. So let's see what happens with the top end of the range here. 2184, halt at 2122.
As far as Amazon, as far as Amazon goes, I have a position in Amazon. I picked some up in October, but I'm holding this for the long term. I don't know what they're gonna say about earnings. My thought, though, is that we might see the consumer be under some more pressure, so they may guide lower if they anticipate less spending. So that's just kind of the feel that I have right now on Amazon, but I do like it longer term. That's about all
Lynn's saying taking the 250 on Tesla and out of it. Nice job on your ATM play. Jay Rice on Amazon. Amazon earnings is Thursday. Google and Microsoft will give you clues on Tuesday. Jay, good stuff here. What types of things are you looking for out of Google and Microsoft? Are you looking for like cloud spending? What is it that you're looking for out of those prints that you're then going to apply to Amazon? That's a good stuff there.
I'd think so. I think that's because that's like where they all kind of contend with each other, is in that particular, like,
Right.
Amazon has AWS, Microsoft has I think Azure or something to that effect, and then Google's been the big search engine. Jay, I think that was their fourth or fifth halt.
That was the fifth halt confirmed here, courtesy of Benzinga Pro. Fifth halt here on Rev B. Jay.
Yeah, it looks like RVSN is still trying to come back. It's holding these levels, and it's trying to push up. It's getting some resistance at the 430 area. 1430, I'm sorry. Rumble looks like it's returning. QN, Google, AI. Yeah, the AI space is still strong, and until maybe when Nvidia hits a top, or maybe we get something out of CMI earnings that spooks investors out of tech. I don't know when this run's going to end, but I have a feeling that we're probably almost at the end soon. ONMD breaking out.
RVSN still holding in here. Let me put up ONMD.
Went through my 152 level. Next one is 168.
Oh man, this was great. This was great.
Yeah, so levels I have for ONMD after 168, and then 195, and then 220. Those are the next levels I have for ONMD.
And folks, we got about 15 minutes left here. Don't forget to stick around. We do have the Trader Bacon show coming up at 11 here. Redirect already set. You don't need to do anything. We will take you there. So Trader Bacon with Apex Trader Funding. Stick around after that. We're going to keep going, though. We've got some more trades to take a look at here. Let's see where ONMD goes. RVSN still holding in there. You're welcome, Mike, but we ain't done yet. We ain't done yet, folks.
Oh, yeah. Jonathan Cooper pointing out some of those smaller Bitcoin names. ClearSpark, CIFR, that's Cypher?
Yeah, that's the miner, right? See, this one we talked about briefly. This CIFR, this is Cypher Mining. We talked about this one in Happy Hour. That's actually a pretty decent daily chart here.
Yeah, MSTR just keeps pushing up slowly. Looks like these Bitcoin names are going to, try to recover. And like Ryan was saying, just watch what Bitcoin does. That'll give you an idea of where these other ones are headed.
Yes, sir.
Man, I want to see what REVB does out of the halt. That should be fun.
Yeah, you know what? I'll bring that up here while we're kind of waiting for that. You know what I'm noticing, 13? Not a lot of action on the broader market, right? We had that first little move up out of the open. Then we had a corrective pullback that took us to the bottom end of the pre-market range. Really no damage done on a pullback there. And now we're kind of right back up at balance. We really haven't done anything. I think we might be setting up for one of those weeks where we kind of wait for some of the bigger reports, albeit we do get some here today, but not a ton of action here indice wise.
Yeah, I think you're right. I've just cycled through some of the Mag 7s. They're not really, aside from Tesla, none of them are really up yet. I need to cycle through some more. But let's see. Meta, kind of, it's up 0.15%. Amazon 0.17. Apple, I think Apple's down. Yeah, Apple's down almost. It's about 0.8% down. And then Microsoft up 0.5%. So you're right. Some of these aren't really moving a whole lot. Just kind of in a holding pattern, like wait and see what happens. I think it's worth paying attention to some of the ones that have run up into their earnings. They may be getting smacked down.
Yeah, Lynn looks like you're seeing the same thing here. Market's flat until the tech earnings and Fed on Wednesday. Those look to be your big events there. Excuse me. SoFi here, 939, 940 the high print here. So we'll see on SoFi real quickly. Yeah. Wiss mentioned CDLX, Charlie Delta Lima X-Ray. Cardillic shares are trading higher after the company announced it had entered into a settlement agreement with SRS and updated preliminary Q4 2023 results. So that popping here
Jonathan
on that settlement.
Cooper, I think you meant REVB resumed, and holy crap, did it ever? Because ONMD was still trading, and even that one looks good, but RevB, what a pop, all the way up to 25, 26.
So I don't have it moving here. Yeah, it looks like it's stopped.
Because it's halted
Are we
again.
going to halt again? Yep, 6th halt here. Your 6th halt. So it popped, went higher, and then nasty action there, RevB.
QN, you might not be wrong about that. He's bringing up the tensions inside U.S. with their the whole border issue, and there are lots of conflicts happening in that region right now. Is it a market? Is it affecting the market? I'm not going to say no. It certainly could, but I think there's also some kind of deal it's still being worked on to not only fund the government but also reach a deal with border and Ukraine funding. So I think there's just a lot of back and forth still happening with that.
Yeah, we also had some news regarding the conflict in the Middle East too. So
yeah,
that is weighing on the market, I'm sure.
Some attack in Jordan from
yep,
Syria. Looks like SoFi got up to 941, slowly pushing up.
It did take out that high by 1 cent, but it's really kind of slowed down on those pops through the high.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you had a great point about the broader market though, and the Mag 7. I think we need to watch these, see what they do for the rest of the day. If they just cannot go flat the whole day, then I think the theory on they're just waiting for earnings is probably right on. I don't know what else is holding it other than what QN was saying.
Bitcoin here, the Bitcoin futures chart near the high end of the range, 42,600.
Pally might be done. It's not looking great.
Yeah, it looks weak.
If MDAI is going to bounce, it's getting close to that bounce level. I have 275 as the potential bounce level. If we go through that, then I'm probably just going to be done looking at it for today.
Vera at the highs, looking like this is actually taking out the highs from Friday. Yes, breakout here on Vera.
That's absolutely wild.
Yeah, that thing was wild. That was a huge move.
Wow. Wow. Look at Vera go. What else? What else do we have?
Plug power. Looks like Plug is moving here today. This moves often. This is a decent trading vehicle here. Plug 340 to 373 so far here today. Jonathan mentioning FRSX. Remember, this owns part of RVSN. Let me said that wrong here. Let me get that real quick. Owns 10% of Rail Vision's outstanding share capital. How is that RVSN doing? Did we fall out yet? We're holding at the bottom end of this range here. Not looking good, but we haven't broken down yet.
Yeah, I think under 1350, it's probably not going to be great. There's some bids trying to hold it up at 1360. We lose those, probably going beneath 1350.
Yeah, I think you're right here. I think you're right. 1350. We'll see.
MSTR 516.75. This thing is just spiking at this point. And it's because Bitcoin is
big move,
really starting to get some good moves going. Wow, look at that. I didn't even look at the chart yet. That's some pretty good size move there. We had a high, looks like yesterday at night of 42.5. So that's the level to get over, it seems. Yeah, coin ripping, all the small Bitcoin names ripping. Like I said, it's going to be election year issue. I need to look at some of these other ones. Okay, so we were talking about GNPX earlier. That how long ago was that? Because that seemed like it moved a bit higher.
Let's take a look here. Yeah, it did. This busted out of, it was this leg here, right? It busted out of this 27. Now, I mean, this went from 27 to 29 cents. So keep it in perspective. But that was, it did take a leg up there.
Hey, Frank, if it's easier to trade, absolutely, by all means, do it. You know, I know that MSTR, that's
I agree
really
with
big,
him.
really big price. So yeah, I'd say for sure coin would be easier. Looks
Yeah,
like RVSN is starting to break down here.
RVSN, that trade might be over here.
And we say that, and then it just rips again.
Well, that's exactly why I didn't do an early stop on it, right? Because again, kind of learning from what we did yesterday or last week, you had some of these stops. This is why we took the position small to begin with. So we'll see here.
REVB is open again, which was really, really short halt.
CRBP, I know it hasn't moved a whole lot here, but this is moving up. You guys that are on this, looks like Crow and Jay are on this. Here's Rev B for you, 13.
Yeah, it looks like it wants to try to go higher, but this is not, I'm not going to be touching this. When you get dollar spreads, that's how you lose money. Trade this if you know what you're doing. Yeah, OnMed, ONMD, breaking down. DAI, trying to find a bottom. And it looks like Rumble wants to try to make new intraday highs. Current one is 658. It is currently at 651. Zim trying to come off the bottom. Not sure how high it'll go. It needs to start breaking through some levels in order to hold these higher prices.
CDLX holding in there.
I don't know about you, but I probably could go for another cup of coffee since the market's kind of thinking about what it wants to do next. I mean, the Bitcoin names are just, having a great time right now.
Bitcoin risk on day.
Yeah, and there could be a correlation between what QN was saying with the conflict at the border and Bitcoin, because Bitcoin rises a lot of times on fear,
conflict,
of conflict, things like that. Yeah, so
it's a good point.
The two could be very, very correlated.
Jamie was making a point earlier. The U.S. market has done a really good job holding up, given the amount of geopolitical events that we have seen. And he's right about that. I would have expected perhaps even more movement on off after some of these things. But Bitcoin, to your point, 13, Bitcoin seems to be reacting to it more often, more frequently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kevin wants to know if you're going to get the coffees and Baileys rolling again. Or is that a Friday thing?
No,
Friday
that
vibes,
was, huh? That was, I didn't have anything else to put in my coffee, so that's why it ended up in there. But no, now I've replenished my stock, so I'm ready.
That's why it ended up in there.
Yeah, that's why it ended up in there. No, because I don't normally drink Baileys, but we had some, so it was like, why not? I mean, my wife likes to do this thing called drunk hot chocolate. Well, she'll take. You know what I'm talking about?
I've heard. I want to hear her recipe though.
Smirnoff peppermint vodka with hot chocolate. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's
pretty good.
There. It is pretty good,
especially on Christmas morning.
I mean, that's the day for it. By the way, RVSN, is it trying to bounce here? It's not fully breaking down yet. We're back to VWAP here. Let's see on RVSN. We've seen a lot of these fake outs here.
There we go.
A lot of these fake outs. I really wanted to wait this one out. Now we're seeing it.
Is the strength returning?
I love this comment here. I'm going to build off this. Lynn saying, congratulations on your new cups, Ryan. There is only one Stanley Cup. So I'm going to second Lynn here. There is only one Stanley Cup, and it is the best trophy in sports, and they give it out to whoever wins the NHL's Stanley Cup finals. It's not one of those little coolers here. You can get tumblers of a bunch of different brands that are just as good. By the way, I don't know if you can hear it. There's still ice cubes clinking around in there, and guess what? Those are from yesterday.
I wonder if the real Stanley Cup keeps your ice cold.
Oh, going 0 to 100 effing real quick. You guys just take shots. That sugar gives you a heck of a hangover. Don't drink and trade.
Yeah. That's
don't drink and trade, folks.
Yeah. Trade.
All right.
Then drink.
Celebrate. 3 minutes coming up until we send you over to Trader Bacon 13, and we'll definitely want to appreciate you hanging out for us or hanging out with us here. You've made Monday a good day here. I still got to think, though, it's possible that this might be the slowest day of the week for us. Monday. The day following the weekend might be the slowest day of the week.
It might be, if not Friday. After we get the jobs report, because I don't think there's a whole lot of things to be excited for after that comes out. We might just see some things happen in the morning, and then the market might be done. So we'll have to see. Other than that, yeah, I think that this is probably going to be one of the slower days. Tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, big earnings, big news, Fed decision. We'll have some movement, I think, for sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. Real quickly here, Robert, this is actually what I'm watching too. Shout out to you, Robert. Robert saying here, RVSN has a big volume decline since 10 a.m. Now, he's absolutely right. And in fact, if you just take a look at the volume sticks down here in the Trade to Pool platform here, you'll see that it was buying volume up into that high. The volume has kind of come back in now, and it's mostly selling volume. Now, what I will say here, and it might be difficult to see it off this chart, that volume might be starting to expand again here. So we're starting to get some candles that are higher than the previous ones, but we're not out of the woods yet. So we'll see here on RVSN. Okay. Yeah. You 13, I just want to say thank you again. Sure. Thanks everyone here for joining us. 13, we're going to have a lot of stuff to do in a happy hour. So make sure you get your rest, your coffee, whatever else you need to be rip roaring and ready to go. We will see you here tomorrow, my man. All right.
Bye folks. Take care.
Take care. 13 is out of here. And that actually just goes for me doing this. All right, folks. So that is going to be it here for live trading. Again, stick around and check out Trader Bacon. Redirect already set. You don't have to do anything. As a reminder, next week, Tuesday through Friday, there will not be live trading. We will have other content. Jay, if you're still out there, let's connect. Let's go ahead and get a meal down there. Have a good one, folks. See you later. Stay green.